Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, wherever you are in the world today. Sorry about the hair and all this. I kind of got thrown for a loop this morning, and yeah, we weren't supposed to have the van in the shop until Friday, but they had an opening earlier, so they took the van this morning. So I rushed. We have rushed to get everything together. Kind of standing outside right now with stuff in a buggy, waiting for, the ride just got here to take him to get, I guess a U-Haul van. It's like $20 a day to stay in until we can get the van back, which they said could be 4 to 5 days for it to be done. So, yeah. So that's what we're doing today, and so I'm a little thrown off guard, but I just wanted to keep everybody up to date still on what's going on. This has been quite a journey from beginning to end so far, and yeah, from age 5 up until now, it's just been one heck of a journey. But I did not know what to talk about. I know this is my first day back to social media again, and the 30-day content creation challenge, which is an amazing challenge. If you guys have not taken the 30-day content creation challenge, you definitely, if you need help with content creation, should take the challenge. I mean, it's an amazing challenge. You learn a lot of golden nuggets, and his round table is also amazing. But so I'm sitting here thinking, what do I want to talk about while I'm sitting here with my buggies, waiting on transportation of some sort or somewhere to stay. Right now, I mean, I was going to talk about my journey and talk about, my life story from when I was a child, growing up to now, and how we got to this point. But that's a long story. I started recording it, but I didn't finish. But yeah, I mean, it went from, I guess I could tell my story. It went from age 5, being molested by my stepfather. And then from, I don't know, it looks like I cracked my phone again. That's not good. And then then I was molested by one of my friend's uncles that I had to go to court for and talk in front of millions of people, in front of the judge, his family, my family. It was the most scariest and devastating thing in my life. And then, especially as a child, you have to get up there and you've got to demonstrate on a doll. Hey! Demonstrate on a doll, everything that was done to you. And, yeah. And then from there, from age 6, I was molested again. There's an Army helicopter above us. Sorry about the noise. I was molested again at age 6 by my stepfather. And then again at the age of 13 by a different stepfather. Then I was raped at the age of 18, where I had my oldest son that I gave up for adoption. And then I met someone that I thought loved me, that cared, But we had a child together. Actually, we had 2. I had a miscarriage with one. Well, 2 miscarriages. And then we had a daughter. One was a boy, I know for sure. I named him Jared Michael. I was 5 months along and ended up losing him. The doctors pretty much said that it was my life of a baby. If I would try to hold on, it would probably take my life. So, and then from there, with her father, he was into the drug life and getting on drugs, and he was on them pretty bad, and then started getting me on them and throwing me out into the street to get him his money. And then from there I went from jail multiple times, and I seen these books in jail about these preachers that would go on the corners, and talk to drug addicts and talk to people that, were in abusive situations or stuff like that, and would help them. And I always envisioned doing something like this, but I never took it anywhere. And then I met my ex-husband. I was with him for 20 years. And I was clean off drugs, was getting my life back together. I was working for a magazine crew at the time when I met him. Couldn't sell any magazines. I was not good at selling magazines, going door to door. And from there, it was, at first it was a sweet relationship. But then, it just, as soon as I went to Mexico with him the first time, it just went downhill. That was the first time he put his hands on me. And I'll never forget that day. And we had our oldest son with us then. But I stayed. I listened to his mother. Please don't go. Please don't take my grandchildren from me. Please make this work. So I stayed. 2 more children that I love dearly. That's the only thing that came out of this that was precious. It was those 3 babies with him. But the abuse just kept getting worse to where I turned back to drugs as my coping method. There's been many times I've passed out. I don't know if I've OD'd or not. I mean, people say it looks like I was ODing. I don't know. But I had to decide, is that the kind of life I wanted to keep living? Being abused, walking on eggshells, not being able to take my kids anywhere without knowing, if I was going to get yelled at or screamed at or find some excuse why he had to fight with me so he could go out and be with some other women, But then my ex-best friend came in the picture, and when he moved her in, that was it. I was done. That was it, and trying to get my kids to call her mom and all this and that. And when I found the note from them, writing back and forth, because I was up here helping my grandmother out when they first hooked up, supposedly, when they first hooked up. But he ended up getting her pregnant. I did not know none of this when I moved back down there, because in a way I was kind of tricked to get back down there. And found this letter that stated that I can't wait until she helps you get your papers. So that way, when you're here legally, we can throw her out into the streets, and I can be the mother of your children. So not only was I getting backstabbed by someone I thought who cared about me, I was being backstabbed by my best friend. The day I left, He lied to the police about him having custody. He couldn't come up with no paperwork. I mean, the police asked him for the paperwork. He said he didn't know where it was at the time, but he did have custody of the children, full custody, and that he was not letting me take the children anywhere with me. And of course, they're good at manipulating. They're very, very good at what they do. And so I left. I had to decide I could stay there and be with my children. I could have. But he has another woman in the house living with us while he's abusing me. Not only physically, but mentally, emotionally, in any other way. Or I could walk away and promise my children I'd be back for them. And that's exactly what I did. I walked away and I promised my babies I'd be back for them. I called every day to see how they were doing. I asked to meet them on their birthdays. I asked to meet them at the park to play. He never had time. He was always too busy to bring them. The last day that I seen them, it was my son's birthday. And I only got to see him for like 5 minutes. And that was just long enough to tell him happy birthday, give him his gift. And he drove off. I begged him to bring the kids to this lunch thing that we were having at the Waffle House that I was working at. It was a family thing. And so they could see their mom where their mom worked at. He swore up and down he couldn't do it. There was no time. Of course he didn't, because he was scheming to ship them to Mexico. He did. At night when I got off work, I called to talk to the kids. And he text messages me and says, about the children, we need to talk. So I call him. His words were, you will never see your children again. I have shipped them there. I sent them to Mexico to live with my family. I will make sure that you have no contact with them ever again. I went to the courts. Well, first I started documenting everything on Facebook, on YouTube, about the abuse, about what he did, about him taking the kids to Mexico, and this and that. And he turned the tables on me and went down to the courts and put a restraining order on me, saying that I was a threat to him and my baby. Let's just get something straight. I would never harm my babies. I don't have a bone in me that could harm anyone. I just don't. I was hurt when I did the video online, and I thought the video was over when I said what I said. But it wasn't even a threat. It was just hurt feelings coming out, saying, I wish he was gone. That's exactly what I said. Something like that. I said I wish he would just. I'd never met him and that he was gone. To me, that's not a threat. I was not threatening him with anything. But he sure made and twisted it to make it look that way. The judge even looked at him and said, I don't know if I can even do this because it's out of my jurisdiction, especially since you've already taken the kids to Mexico. I don't even know if this is legal, what I'm about to say. but she did it anyways. If it wasn't legal, how can you put it in paper? She said that I was to have no contact with him, which was perfectly fine with me. I didn't care. Great. That's wonderful news. But when she said that I could have no contact with my babies at all for 4 years, I don't know how I'm here today. Just put it that way. I was on the verge of not being here. Let's just say. But I survived. I made it through it. I got up. I started working harder. I made a promise. No matter what, somehow, some way, I was going to get back on my feet. I was going to get to that courthouse, and I was going to get my babies back. Somehow, I was going to get me the best lawyer there was and bring my babies home. But COVID hit. I did get on my feet. I did get the van. I did get the camper. And then, and I'm sorry about the interruption. Somebody showed up here and asked me, outside with the buggies and asked me if I wanted some fruit. So I just kept the camera for a second. But where was I? Court, COVID, all those things. Then, the van crashing and the camper gone, and I was devastated. I had the money to go to court. I had the money saved. I was going to go petition the court like they said I had to do to get my babies back home. I had the money in my hand. I had a camper. I had the van. And it just screeched to a halt. I had to pick myself up once again. And I did. It wasn't easy, but I did. Because in a way I was tired of getting knocked down. I mean, between the trolls and the death threats from them and the lies that they spread and the talking about they're going to rape me and kill him and all that. I mean, it was a mess. And them sitting there saying, making fake videos, taking our videos and changing everything upon them. How they did it, I don't know. How they made fake numbers and called, I don't know. But, and between him and COVID and everything, it's been a journey. And then we got the other van after that, and when it broke down, after we ended up getting a camper again, and it broke down, I mean, it was just one thing right after the other, and finally we got this van. Everything was going as planned again, everything was good, and then we had our adopted mom that we found on Facebook when we first started out our journey from back on the streets and living in a tent and trying to sleep under trees and sleep in bus stops and and all this and that, and she said, I want to come down there with you guys so we can help each other out. Okay, so we got the van together. She helped us get the van together so we could go up there and get her. The van was overloaded though coming back. It was way too much in weight. And 30 minutes from where we usually stay and live, the transmission went out. It was not moving anymore. It was not going into reverse. It was not going into drive. It was not going into first, second, third, none of them. So we had enough to get it towed here. We towed it to where we are. Some amazing people have come together with prayers and everything else, and some with support, some with just encouraging words, because I've posted stuff on Facebook about how I've had to go back to when I was living on the street and how I survived and how I was going to get back to where I wanted to be again. With transportation, with a roof over my head of some kind, and I am so grateful for all the amazing people that I have met along this journey, because I've never felt so much support in all my life, and I'm grateful for that. The van right now, as we speak, is in the shop. Just went this morning, and he is on his way to go get a U-Haul van. I guess it's $20 a day or something like that. And I guess the van's going to be in the shop for 4 or 5 days. So that is a little bit of my story from beginning to end. And I'm sorry I got really emotional, but when it comes to my babies, they're my world, they're my everything. And yes, I've healed when it comes to self-esteem. Yes, I've healed when it comes to self-confidence. Yes, I've healed when it comes to, self-care and taking care of myself and not letting myself go anymore like I used to. But when it comes to my children, I'm still healing. And I think we all have somewhere in our lives that we're still healing. It doesn't matter who we are. Somewhere in our life, we all have some point that we're still working on. But see, as we help others to heal, we also heal ourselves in the process. And I've learned this. And I'll never forget the words of my coach. You did the best that you could do in the circumstances that you were in. And I believe that. I did the best that I could do with the circumstances that I had. And I'm not giving up on my babies. Yeah, one may be 18 now. One may be 17 or he's 16. One may be 16 and the other one may be 15, but I'm not giving up. I can talk to them now. I can at least message them now. It's been 4 years. There's nothing that can stop me from messaging them now. Well, he could, if he really wanted to. He could be an ass still, but we won't get into that. But technically, I am able to speak to them if I wanted to. But the judge was wrong all along. It's the one, you're never supposed to, that's abuse in itself right there, parent alienation. The other parent is always supposed to have contact with the other children, unless of course that parent is abusing that child, which I've never once abused my child. Yes, I made some dumb mistakes. Yes, I made some dumb moves. Yes, I lived with some stupid people to try to get out of an abusive situation that led to my children getting hurt by that person. But I have never once hurt my child, unlike their father, whose social services have come in and taken the children from him and told me to leave. But yet, when he's done with the classes, with the and all this and that, and coming over and visiting while they're there and making it look like, oh my God, he's just the most perfect person in the world, they let him move back in. They even said to let him move back in, that he could be there with the children. So they pretty much put me back in that situation that I was trying to get out of. But yeah, this is my journey, and as we go along, I will tell you more. I'm also in the 30-day content creation challenge. If you have not been in that challenge, you need to join that challenge, because it's an amazing challenge and it will help you so much with your content. I'm also been in a program helping to lose weight and lose inches off. And I'll be posting on that in the next 6 days now, because yesterday was the first day. For the next 6 days, I'll be posting about that as well. And if you guys, want to sign up for that, I've got the link for a free masterclass that you can watch, and also a link after watching the masterclass if it's something that you're interested in. Mocha, that we can get you set up where you can talk to her to get into the program. But until then, I want you to remember that no matter what struggles life puts you through, because it's going to put you through struggles, you will survive. It will get better. And it's not over until it's over. Remember that. Don't ever give up. Keep going. Keep pushing. Because you can do anything that you put your mind to. Nothing is impossible. Remember, you are loved, amazing, worthy. I believe in you. But you must believe in yourself. Because that is truly where the magic happens. It's always been inside you all along. God bless you.